I pressed the red button.
I hope so. Red button, take 2.
It'll just be a one-sided conversation with yourself.
So what did
So
you
think of the game? Yeah, I thought that too. And everyone's like, does Josh actually exist?
No.
Is he just Jalen's imaginary friend?
And then the people on your side of the world, does Jalen even exist? Is that Mario Bones? Just a ploy?
You just talk to yourself on Twitter? You've got 2 accounts?
Hello and welcome to the Peanut Butter Channel. Welcome to Spoilsports.
Oh, what a lovely name. I see what you did there.
It's almost as if we're going to spoil the game just by talking about it.
the cat. What?
Bizella's everyone.
Bizella's
She's not even real.
Bizella is drugs. Bizella is the Prime Minister.
She is the danger. Alright, so in this spoil sport, we're going to be spoiling practically every Ace Attorney game, and that includes the most recent release for us Westerners, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. And knowing me and you...
That's not the full name. Oh, you stuffed it all up already.
Hit the red button.
Oh, no.
No. You failed. And knowing us, you're probably going to wind up spoiling Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And
somehow
Spider-Man
we'll
as well.
work it in there.
We have plenty of original material.
Oh yeah, definitely. Guten Tag, DEA.
Oh, that's not going to be funny for anyone except us.
No, it's not. This is just going to be in-jokes for the first... Let's look at the time here. I'm looking at my imaginary watch. 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
2 minutes. I was off. I need to change the imaginary batteries. Okay, so first things first. Josh, did you like the game?
No. No, it was amazing. I wish I could play it again, except that, I don't know, I feel like I couldn't play it again because of the puzzles and everything. It'd be like, oh, I've already done this. This feels weird.
Yeah, same here. It makes me, say what you will about Dual Destinies. One of the good things it added was that, where you can just jump to any point in any episode.
Yes, the game needed that so much.
Yes, if you want to just play the good parts, go and play the good parts. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I loved when you were playing it and you were keeping me up to date with your progress. And your reactions were like the exact same as mine throughout the whole game. And I'm like, oh, it's like experiencing the game again.
Yeah. Message me more. Jalen, you haven't messaged me. I'm sorry. I
Whisper sweet spoilers in my ear.
Whisper them. Oh, man. Phenomena. Alright, so I really enjoyed the game, too. It was just so good. Like, even if Professor Layton wasn't part of the equation, it was just so good to have the original 2 back.
I know. You could tell that Takumi was behind it because the chemistry between Wright and Maya was just exactly how it was in the original games. And it was like, oh wow,
sells itself.
My long lost friend is back.
That is exactly how it felt. Now, mind you, this is coming from a guy who really loves Dual Destinies, but there's just that Takumi's so good at writing dialogue.
Yeah.
He's so good at characterization that I missed just seeing those 2 dorks together again.
I know, and it was like no time had passed at all. They were just back together as it should be, and it was great.
This is the real canon.
Apollo Justice never happened.
You're not real. Oh, man. Now, with that said, there was something that was an Ace Attorney in that game, and that is Professor Layton.
Him with these beady eyes that stand out.
His tiny dots.
Yeah.
His crooked,
his
wicked
eyes have
smile.
shrunk after all the exposure to hallucinogens over the years. Like that, like
City full
he
of
doesn't even have a
vampires?
British
Nope,
accent.
it's
That's
all
just
in
what he
our
sounds like because he's stoned, because he's just been exposed to so many drugs in like every case he's been on.
Layton's not even his real name.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I loved the contrast between the goofy Ace Attorney characters and Layton's gentleman-like behavior. Like,
which is
you know, in the final trial where they're trying to recreate, they're trying to work out what happened in the Great Fire. And Maya's like, oh well, there's one way we can work out what happened if
Matches.
we recreate the fire, light the town on fire. And Layton's just like,
no.
yeah, I didn't hear that.
I got an idea, Professor. Why don't we cross the river by using your hat as a boat? No. Shut up, Luke.
Like, it's the first time where he's ever had to deal with a character who's just so off the chain and ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
normally he's like, the characters will be a bit colourful, but he's like, oh yes, well, yeah, we'll
He's
just
never-
keep going on with
he's-
what I'm doing.
He's never encountered Ace Attorney colorful.
And when you have to present evidence as Layton, did you ever get any of them wrong?
Wait, no, I didn't get any of them wrong. What happened?
I went backwards afterwards because I wanted to see what happened, and I presented some of the wrong evidence, and Phoenix is like, Professor, that's not the right evidence, and he says, oh, well, I wasn't presenting evidence, I was just practicing my pronunciation. And everyone's like, oh, okay, fair enough, Professor. And he's like, what?
Oh my
I never get a second
gosh.
chance? What the hell is this? and if you're presenting evidence to Phoenix, Phoenix is like, ha, well, good try, Professor, but you're wrong. And Maya's like, Nick, what got into you? And he's like, well, I've never been on this side of the fence before, and it feels really good.
That's hilarious. I love it.
It's so funny.
It's so good. Just
They just nailed the
they
characters
blend together.
so
They
well.
they nailed the characters so well. With that said, do you have any complaints about the game?
I think
Before the big one that we're probably going to wind up
before the
discussing
big one.
later.
Okay.
But-
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a complaint, but I would have. It might have been good to have a few more characters brought in, but I don't know if it needed it. Like, a lot of people were outright complaining, saying it's not really a crossover because it's only got like 4 or 5 characters between the games and in the crossover. But I don't know. Like, I feel like the new setting was part of the reason it was so good.
Yeah. I feel exactly the same way. When it I felt that that's all they needed.
Yeah.
Phoenix and Maya and Professor Layton and Luke. That's all they needed.
Like, at first, I was definitely in the camp that was complaining, but then I thought of... Like it would have been cool to see, like, Gumshoe and Inspector Chelmy chumming it up and stuff. But then when you start playing the first few chapters, it's like, okay, well, this is actually... This works. Like, it works because it's only got the protagonists in there, and it's not spending the whole time just making references to all the games and stuff.
Yeah, and that said, when it does make a reference to a past game, it works really well.
Yeah, like Luke talking to animals or the ladder joke and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And another thing that I don't know if it was a complaint or just because it was part of the game's bait and switch, but just the big turn towards the end before the twist, where it kind of puts characters to the sidelines a bit. Like, it's what's his name, Barnum. He kind of gets shoved to the side a bit, and you're like, oh, that feels a bit abrupt. But then, because of the twist at the end, it reveals that none of that was really important in the first place.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I don't want to go in
liked...
detail because we're about to talk about the twist in detail in a second. But yeah, it was just kind of like the twist that it wasn't really about the town. It was more about the central set of characters.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll go into my complaint. I have like 3.
Okay.
And I think they're mainly because I'm just incredibly biased towards one side of this coin. My God, Phoenix and I have the same reaction to puzzles. Excuse me, sir. Do you know where I need to go? Oi! 2 dogs going up a hill for a spot of tea, there he is.
Oh, actually, that reminds me of another complaint that I had that I forgot about. It was, kind of the way the mechanics of each series maybe could have been used in each other's sections a bit more. Like, in the courtroom, maybe there could have been a few more sort of themed puzzles related to what was going on, and maybe in the investigation sections there could be a bit of more, I don't know, something like the Cyclops, where not necessarily the Cyclops themselves, but maybe like a bit more of investigation, contradiction finding from the Ace Attorney series. Oh, and contradictions and puzzles. They only used that once.
They only used that once, and they advertised it.
Yeah, like, the really weird thing about the game is that if you look at the initial reveals and interviews, and the artwork from the DLC, which I don't think you have.
I have some of it.
Okay, yeah, they revealed more for us because we've had the game longer. But you can see the massive shifts in development, that it is like nothing like what it was originally going to be.
Yeah. Which leads me to my second complaint. I love the game.
Mm-hmm.
I love what I got. That said, I am pretty disappointed that we didn't get what was promised in the initial reveal.
Yeah, about there not being much of a conflict. Is that what you mean?
Yes. We start like we said that the character interactions are what make this game.
Yeah.
And we kind of get that from the get-go, but I would have loved what we were promised in the trailer. With Phoenix on one side and then Layton on the other side, you know, battling wits.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw that trailer, I was super excited because Layton always has the answers.
But so does Phoenix, yeah. So it'd be like really weird to see them go up against each other.
Yeah, but Layton always has the answers, more so than Phoenix.
Yeah.
And like no one ever questions Layton.
Yeah, like, I love the look at his face in the initial trailer, where he's going off at his usual, so the actual suspect behind the crime, and Phoenix is like, objection, and he's like, whoa, what's happening? Whoa, this has never happened before, whoa.
That's what I love, because I was like, when I first saw that trailer, I was like, only Phoenix can do that. Only he can find something wrong with Layton.
But I think they tried going down that route, but then
they
realized that it would be impossible to actually pull off. Because, I mean, you'd have to make one of the characters look worse than the other to a significant margin. And if you're playing as Phoenix against Layton, one of them has to be wrong, and it couldn't be the one that you're playing as.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But with that said, maybe... Another thing is, too, I love the fact that we got a game out of this. But those cutscenes in that initial trailer makes me want like a movie of this, like in the sense of Eternal Diva.
Oh,
maybe
yes.
Go with that original plotline idea and make that into the little movie.
That could work, because then you wouldn't have to worry about working out who you're playing as in each section and how you make one of the characters wrong and that sort of thing.
I don't care. Layton can be wrong. He's always right. It kind of bothers me.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, obviously, one of them would have to come out on top, but it would be weird if it's not the person you're playing as.
Yeah,
because you'd be like, I've proved this contradiction, and then it's like, well, actually, you were wrong the entire time. And it's like, well, why did I have to prove?
Because it was me, Don Paolo.
Don Paolo. Everyone is Don Paolo.
Yeah. Descole.
Jean Descole.
Eternal Diva was so good. And like going back to my first complaint about the puzzles, I love the Layton characters. I love the Layton stories, even though I do make fun of them. I like them better as movies.
Yeah, I always found that I was enjoying the plot sections more than the puzzles in Layton games. Or say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy the puzzles this time, and you play heaps of them, and then you get to a point in the story, and it's like, solve 100 puzzles to get past. You're like, nah, fuck off.
Yeah,
I've had
exactly.
enough. I just want to see the stupid twist.
That's enough. I came here for an underground city, and by God, am I gonna get my underground city?
Okay, third complaint.
My third complaint. Again, I'm so sorry, Layton fans, but if the plot felt so skewered to one side.
Yeah.
Towards Layton's
interesting.
side. Like, he was the one figuring out everything, and Phoenix was just along for the ride.
Well, okay, this is what I see. This is how I see the plot. It was sort of like a big Layton mystery, broken up into smaller Ace Attorney mysteries, and usually in Layton games, you're only ever concerned with the one big mystery, and the other mysteries would just be something like, oh, where did that character go? Let's go find them. But this time, it leads up more logically to the final conclusion by breaking up into smaller mysteries.
Yeah, I see that.
And I felt the same as you. I felt like it was making Layton a lot smarter. But knowing knowing all the twists in the end, I played through the final chapters again, and it seems less like Layton is sure of himself, and more like he has hunches and he's bouncing his ideas off Phoenix to see if he's correct.
That's kind of what I thought towards the end, but I'm just talking like Layton got to do all the cool stuff.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing. Like the only reason he was able to work out the twist
mess.
in the end was because he was in the right place where the evidence was. And meanwhile, Phoenix is defending Isabella, which turns out to not actually be important at all. And then Layton's like, oh, well, look, I've got the evidence.
Yeah, and it's just... It kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the story being so skewed towards Layton's side. Like, I remember seeing the initial just the initial trailer, and be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because Layton goes on these grand adventures, and I would love to see, like, Phoenix's reactions to all this. Yeah. And we saw it in later trailers, where, like, you see Layton and Luke fighting against, like, the robot knights. And I was okay, so
I was joking back then, saying, oh, look, the sparks coming off the knights, I bet they're robots. And then I wasn't laughing at the end of the game.
And Layton was the one who was confronting the storyteller. Phoenix almost had I don't think he ever had like a scene just with the storyteller.
Yeah, he kind of wasn't important. He was, like, Phoenix was mainly concerned with the smaller details that helped Layton later on. Like, I think that was, like, the best idea they had in the plot was writing Layton out halfway in. Because it gave Phoenix a chance to shine. Because I feel like Layton is smarter than Phoenix. So, having him there for the whole time would have made it... Layton solves the mystery while Wright is there because he has to be.
That's kind of what it felt like to me, though.
Like, even in the courtroom sections... They'd always have Layton at the end say, oh, well, right, I've noticed the contradiction between the statements.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not your job. No.
Hey, buddy.
You don't see Phoenix doing all your puzzles. Piss off. Settle down, Layton.
Yeah, but that was one of the... And I'm, like I said, if there are any Layton, like, hardcore, diehard Layton fans listening to me, I'm sorry, but I go into a crossover and I want to see both sides... both given their respect, and while yes, both sides were given their respect, after all, it was an Ace Attorney writer writing this, but I just felt it was a bit skewered towards Layton.
How did you feel gameplay wise? Do you think it was a good balance?
I thought it was a good balance. I definitely see your complaint about wanting more investigation stuff in the Layton sections, and I felt they kind of tried to do that with the questioning.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen evidence collecting and Magatamas, though.
Yeah. They've really brushed over Maya's powers in the game.
Oh, it is hilarious, because they go out of their way to not say it specifically, because that would be like, it would just throw the audience into a loop, but at one point, Phoenix just like, oh yeah, you being a spirit channeler, I suppose you'd be into this stuff. Before the game
came out, I thought Maya was going to get suspected of being a witch because of her powers. And it would be geez, how do we prove that she's not a witch when she actually does have magic?
Yeah. I thought that too.
But
anyway,
the gameplay was weird because, you try to think about, okay, was this more a Layton game or was it more an Ace Attorney game? So you think, okay, so there's Layton sections with puzzles, and then there's the Wright sections with the courtroom, but then the Layton sections are also the investigation part of an Ace Attorney game, which means it's more of an Ace Attorney game, but Ace Attorney games don't have puzzles, and then you start getting confused, and you're like, oh, geez, okay, this was kind of a good mix.
Because, when they first announced this, I was like, oh, that's perfect, because you can just get the Layton sections, the core Layton gameplay, and have that be the investigation segments, because sometimes the investigation segments in Ace Attorney games can drag on.
Blasphemy. No, I agree. That's why Cyclops was such a good introduction, because it brought the courtroom into the investigation, so it's not just a game of, spot the evidence amongst the pixels.
Poke or pixel hunt for the right thing. Hope you go to the right place. Hope you pixel hunt correctly in that right place. Then go to another place and repeat.
And if all else fails, present every bit of evidence to everybody.
To everyone, yeah.
I remember getting stuck for ages in the third case of Apollo Justice because I didn't examine a postcard on the table. And I was like, oh my god.
I remember being stuck for ages in case 3 of the first game. All because I didn't examine one thing. I can't remember what it was, though.
Yeah, the investigation sections can be a pain sometimes. So that's why it was good to have a bit of a mix-up, so there's still some gameplay within the investigations.
Yeah, that said, I definitely see your complaint about there not being, present or just talk.
Can you imagine presenting Phoenix's badge to everyone?
Yes, that's what I wanted to do! And
presenting it to Layton, and he's like, oh, why are you showing me this?
Oh, well, that's nice, I suppose. Look at my hat.
This badge reminds me of a puzzle.
No!
Oh, did you get any of the, when you in the final trial, did you present any evidence as Phoenix wrong?
I tried not to. I think I did once.
Because I went backwards again because I wanted to see what the dialogue was. And Layton, the judge is like, oh, sorry, Mr. Wright, but you've made a mistake. And Layton goes, well, speaking of mistakes, this reminds me of a puzzle. And then the judge bangs his gavel and he's like, Mr. Layton, this is not the time. And Layton looks so cut. He looks so sad, and he's like, oh, well, yes, I suppose you're right.
Oh, yes, Mr. Wright making a mistake. This reminds me of a puzzle. So a young girl is locked in a cage, and she gets dropped into fire. Hey-o.
Yeah, so there's an incompetent lawyer standing at the defense bench. Oh wait, I forgot where this puzzle was going.
Luke, laugh at him, my boy. Speaking of laugh at him, Edgeworth was so pompous in that mid-credit scene.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Very well, get it on with Mr. Wright.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that leads into another thing. How did you feel about the voice acting in this game?
I thought it was great, but Maya was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's hilarious because I was talking with Matt.
You were cheating.
And I'm like, yeah, it's sorry. And I was like,
I didn't know how to feel.
Baby, no. I'll make it up to you later. Okay. But it's funny because I was telling him earlier, it's weird because I'll be talking with someone and I'll be like, yeah, I didn't like Maya's voice all that much, and they'll go, yeah, it sucked, and I'll like, you shut up about Maya, okay? I feel so conflicted. I want to love it, but I can't.
It's just not what I pictured her sounding like at all. Like, I could say that about both of Phoenix's new actors, but they still fit, but Maya just didn't fit.
Yeah. With Maya, I appreciate, though, that they kind of went with a normal-sounding voice, as opposed to getting someone like Athena.
Yeah, they didn't go full anime.
Yeah. And I don't know, because like maybe that voice can work for like a I don't know, Ace Attorney 6 Maya or something. But it's just a bit too refined for the Maya we have right now.
Yeah, it didn't sound childlike or goofy enough, but again, you don't want to go too far, I guess.
Yeah, which is fine, because like Maya is such an interesting character in her own right that I feel the voice would have to be perfect in order for her as a character to work.
It would have to be able to be innocent and goofy. It would have to be sad. It would have to be super determined and broken and stuff. It would have to cover a lot of bases at once.
It would have to be Bryan Cranston as a female.
But yeah, did you like Phoenix's voice actor?
It grew on me.
Yeah. At first I was kind of iffy, but then it definitely felt like Phoenix, and he managed to cover the funny dialogue as well as the really serious and sad bits as well.
Yeah. The dialogue and voice acting in the cutscenes is way different than the ones that you get in like the game. Because dubbing a cutscene is so hard because you have to match the lip movements.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to beeps, and you have to like look at how the line was originally delivered in Japanese.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to dub. But in the actual gameplay, they have a lot more freedom to just, act.
Yeah.
And that's where I felt Phoenix shined.
Ah, yeah.
That said, I really did like his performance in that cutscene.
The yelling at the cage dropping.
Yeah, where Maya's dropped into the fire.
Oh yeah, because we can spoil, can't we? Yeah, the part where Maya is gruesomely burnt alive. But
yes.
That scene was painful to watch because I didn't get that bit spoiled like you did. So I'm just like, holy shit, did they just do that? And Phoenix was so devastated, and I was like, wow.
Okay, that is the most devastated I have seen him.
Yeah, and the way he confronts Barnum afterwards, I was like, wow,
that was powerful.
Like, normally in crossovers you wouldn't see character development like that. It's just kind of like a bit of fun and fan service. The characters go through a plot, but they managed to develop the characters more, and it was like, wow, I haven't seen this side of Phoenix before. This is crazy.
Yeah, I know, and it's just him. Like, he gets up into Barnum's face with his fist curled. He's gonna punch him
in the face. And Barnum's like, strike me down with my sword, and Phoenix isn't going to refuse. And you're like, wow. Like, they took what means the most from him, and like you see a dark side of him that you've never seen. And it kind of makes Apollo Justice make a bit more sense when he's a douche.
Which is why I try and tell you.
He has a douche.
Which is why I try and tell you, but you don't listen to me. And you're like, no, it's bad.
What's this?
You don't remember when we talked about Apollo Justice, and I'm like, well, you see, Phoenix is in a very dark place. It's been 7 years. He had his life ripped from him.
Oh yeah, but
like,
even
in
he's
like
acting like
a jerk.
Even in the prequel section where you're playing as Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they totally mischaracterized him there.
No, okay, yeah, that for that one, I don't have anything other than
like the rest of the game,
it
makes sense, but yeah, that trial in the past was not good.
The only part in the past that I really of Apollo Justice that I really like is when Phoenix first adopts Trucy.
Yeah,
because that's like the only part that gets to me is like when I first played that, or when I first saw it, I was like, oh jeez, this is heartwarming. That's his daughter.
She wasn't in Dual Destinies enough.
Yeah, she really wasn't. Speaking of Dual Destinies, we need those plots resolved quickly.
Oh god, yes.
And my biggest worry for Ace Attorney 6...
over everything from Apollo Justice. Like, Apollo's just like, hey, well, my idol of many years just totally used me to pretty much twist the law to his own gains and become the bad guy he was trying to stop. But hey, let's party!
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that was kind of brushed over as much as you do. I feel as if like it was kind of subtly drawn upon.
I feel like it was too subtle though, especially in the third case where it's like, oh, the ends. What is it?
Ends justify the means.
And Phoenix is like, that's horrible. I would never do that, and no one questions it. And it's like, guys, did you play Apollo Justice? No?
Bloody Ace.
Yeah.
No, but I kind of did feel that they did touch upon that a bit in that case, because I don't know if you remember when he's talking about that to Athena, he's not looking her directly in the eye. He's looking down like.
I just saw that as like the anime wistful stare into the distance, like we lawyers must never do stuff like this. Wistful stare into the distance, lens flare sort of thing.
It's funny because I'm trying to put more subtlety into a very unsubtle game. The Dark Age. Speaking of unsubtle, you thought Darklaw was the villain as well, didn't you? Not really. I knew it was going to be a bait and switch. You know who I thought it was going to be?
Who?
And I was fully expecting the cat.
Oh yeah, but I thought she was the cat.
I was like, really? Huh. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can kind of see it. The ears.
No, didn't you know the section where they're looking for the cat? And it's like, oh, where'd she go? I saw her walk into this alley, and then she's not there, and Darklaw is, and it's like, oh.
You know what? That is. I didn't think about that.
And she's wearing black clothes, which she never wears, except it's the same color as the cat, and it's like, that's a magical robe, isn't it? And then as soon as she leaves, the cat comes back.
You know what? That is really good. And I remember thinking about that when I first saw promo art for Darklaw, and I saw the picture of the cat on the cover. I was like, oh, she's totally the cat. But then I guess I just kind of forgot about it while playing the game, and it didn't occur to me.
But it was such a beautiful bait and switch because it was using all of Takumi's normal tropes. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, gotcha, there is no Bazella. It's like, damn it, like...
Okay, so we're going into tropes now. We're going into Layton tropes specifically.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about that Scooby-Doo ass ending.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you red-leg prosecutors.
Where do we even begin? Okay, so fourth complaint for me.
Fourth complaint, the ending.
Would that be a complaint for you too?
Kind of, but I don't know. Kind of grew on me a bit.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Okay, so we're just gonna say it. Labyrinthia is not in a storybook.
It's all a government conspiracy, and that is not a joke. It is a big project set up by the government to investigate the effects of mind control on people. And so there's people running around in pure black cloaks, which the citizens are hypnotized not to see, that are using machines that the citizens also can't see to create special effects like in movies, which simulate the magic. The reason that Labyrinthia was set up was because... this is really complicated to explain. But
they have to play it. Let's just discuss it. That being said, the reason was really good and redeemed it for me.
Yeah.
That being said,
they made it more personal and it wasn't just you fell for the trick.
Yeah. And it was a really dark reason too.
It was freaking dark.
That was so dark.
Despite the fact that it's one of no crimes actually happen throughout the game, pretty much. That it's like, oh, but everyone is dead. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's like you're like, oh, okay, they're showing people getting dunked into fire in a Layton game. Wow, that's hardcore. And then at the end, okay, so no one really died in those fires.
Yeah,
but then they're like, oh, by the way,
died.
Everyone died in a big fire. Everyone, an entire city.
And the kids were so traumatized that they started believing in witches.
No, they were so traumatized they thought they were Satan.
Yeah, they thought they were possessed by a demon. And throughout the game, one of the girls frequently tries to kill herself.
Yes!
Like, Layton and Phoenix push her to suicide at the end by cross-examining her. It was dark.
It was such a dark game. not that being said, it's a good kind of dark.
Yeah.
But going back to the ending, we kind of veered off track. I was like, I thought about it for a while. I'm like, oh my god, this is The Village. I hate that movie. I hate this twist. But then I remember, I thought about it, like, okay, the difference between Shyamalan and the Layton people. At least Layton people make interesting characters.
And they know their twists are dumb.
Yeah, and they know their twists are dumb. But Shu Takumi wrote this game. I expect that kind of dumb twist from Layton. I don't expect it from Takumi.
I think he did it just to sort of make it more Layton-like.
I'm even thinking that it probably wasn't even Takumi who wrote that. I'm thinking maybe someone Takumi came up with the idea of witch trials, of course.
Yeah, then someone edited the ending on later.
No, not so much that, but they created a basic outline, and Takumi was like, okay, let me make the cases and write the dialogue.
Yeah.
But, speaking of dialogue, Takumi's writing really helps the Layton games. It makes the investigations a lot more bearable. But yeah, that end. I was so mad over that ending when it first occurred to me. Then I closed.
Yeah,
it.
as soon as Phoenix says magic isn't real, is it? I was like, no. I posted on Miiverse. You could probably track it down. I posted a screen cap of Phoenix saying that, and I just put "really" in capital letters.
Oh man.
Because I think a big part of why it was so disappointing was because magic was such a big part of why the game was working so well. Phoenix had to totally change the way he approached trials, and Layton had to accept that there was actually a supernatural reason for stuff happening this time.
And another thing is that the fact that if magic actually existed, that would be a lot less contrived and a lot more realistic
That's
than
the
that
stupid
ending.
thing about Layton endings. They're a mystery game where the solution makes less sense than the mystery. Oh yes, well, it wasn't actually a big giant ghost. It was a giant manatee fighting with a robot in the middle of a city. Oh.
Was that the ending for Last Spectre?
Oh, haven't you played it yet?
I never played Last Spectre.
Yeah, that's the twist ending.
Can you repeat that? I need to hear that again. What was it?
The Spectre is a giant manatee fighting with a robot. I'm not making this up.
You're not making this up.
So basically, Descalais is trying to destroy the city to get to the ancient ruins at the center or something, and he's using a giant robot.
Okay.
And
which is kind of his thing. Okay,
and that disrupts this creature that's hiding in the ruins, which is like the guardian of the town. So it's kind of like the Spectre in the legend, but it's like a giant dinosaur manatee sort of thing. So it tries to fight the robot to stop it from attacking the town. But one of the girls in the town knows about the monster and that you can calm it with the song from the flute. So she plays the flute to calm down the monster. And that's why the Spectre always appears when the music plays, because it's always played when they're fighting with each other.
So why does it look like a specter?
Because Layton.
Okay, now.
It's something like the robot is powered by steam, and it makes the fog which covers it up so you can't see it properly or something. And yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty cool doesn't make any sense, but
but that's what I love about Layton games. They just come up with the most contrived, amazing reasons for something.
Yeah, there's a dumb charm to it.
Yeah,
but aside from case 3 of Justice for All, Ace Attorney never really had that many contrived reasons.
Yeah.
And especially for Takumi, I was pretty disappointed with Takumi coming fresh off, well, not fresh, but coming off of Ghost Trick.
Yeah, where he had something weird and nonsensical but made it work.
That worked. Yeah, and it was just such a great ending in Ghost Trick that with this one I felt it was slapped in there.
But I guess another way to look at it is, how would you resolve it if there was this great almighty witch that they had to try and stop somehow?
Just stop her. Punch her in the face, Phoenix.
Layton brings in one of his robots.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see Phoenix fight something with a pipe.
But yeah, like, one thing the ending did do is explain why both of them exist in the same time period. Because I was like, wait, because both of us were like, hang on, why didn't they just bring Layton from the past and Phoenix from the future? And then it's like, because there is no Labyrinthia.
Yeah, Labyrinthia was more important to keep than, like, making sense of a timeline.
Yeah.
Because now Professor Layton exists in the Ace Attorney universe somewhere.
But in the DLC, though...
The DLC is super non-canon.
Are you sure?
It's so non-canon, it hurts.
Some of them actually explained the plot, though. So it's weird.
I know, but no, you can't tell me that when I opened the DS. And Phoenix is like, hey, it's been a year. Has it, Phoenix? What's that on your chest? What's that on your lapel?
Like, it's so fourth wall break. Like, the way I look at the DLC is that... Have you played The World Ends With You?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, when you finish the game, there's an alternate timeline story. Or it's like an alternate dimension story that the game says is non-canon. And you play through it, and all the characters are really weird and messed up. And, like, the main antagonist is, like, best friends with everyone now, and it's like, what the hell is going on? But it reveals backstory for one of the characters that is canon, because some of the things share similarities between the alternate dimensions. So I think the things that tie into the plot in the DLC are canon, but the actual events in the DLC aren't.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I'll accept that. That being said, I would have totally loved the DLC if they had Phoenix in his hobo suit visiting Layton. Hey, in Dual Destinies, he said he does go to London. What I was going back to.
Oh yeah, that's right. In one of the DLC episodes, they're walking around London, and they're like, "Why is everyone wearing top hats?"
I love it how they're in the DLC. They're like, Layton, stop giving us tea, please. We're gonna die.
The DLC is amazing, though. There's one where all the characters start fighting about how unimaginative their names are. And Kira is like, yeah, look, I'm the killer in the case, and my name is Kira. And then Emir, he's like, wait, hang on a second. My name is Emir Punching Bag. And he's like, what's this?
Wait, what was his last name?
Punchenborg.
Oh my god, I never caught that.
So his name is Emir Punching Bag.
That is hilarious. Also, he was one of the better characters.
He was amazing. He was like medieval Larry.
Yes. But, okay, look, can we just talk about how he pawned Layton's arm?
The dark humor in that case was so good. Like, Layton has just been turned into a golden statue by witchcraft, and he's effectively dead. And then they're talking about pawning his arm off as an artifact. And then they stick it back on, and the statue points.
I love how they spin it around when both because when you find a contradiction in a testimony that contradicts another person's testimony, Layton and Phoenix both do a double point, which is the one you see in the trailers. But when in the case 2, right? Yeah,
it's the second. It's the second witch trial, case 3 overall.
Yeah, that's right. In that case, when you do that double point thing, since Layton's not there, you have Espella and Luke grabbing the legs of Layton and spinning him around with Phoenix just to get that pose still.
they absolutely nailed the humor. Like
Yes.
even like the comedic timing in the vigilante case, where they always have that guy falling over after a joke or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there'll be a slight pause, and then you just hear this crashing of a knight falling over.
That's another thing this game has on Dual Destinies, the presentation.
Like the production values are crazy. Like
Hold
it's
on,
going
can I
to
just
be-
say something?
huh?
Can I just say something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Would the audience, would people believe me if I told them to their face that on my 3DS, a game that can play Street Fighter perfectly well, I had frame rate issues during a visual novel?
Yes, that was weird. It was like in the vigilante case, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It was whenever Foxy did anything, she stuffed up the frame rate.
Yeah, but it was great because there's so, like, I love the look of the Dual Destinies models.
Yeah,
But there's
Dual
not much
Destinies
going
was
on there.
great at bringing the Ace Attorney style to 3D, but Layton vs Phoenix did a great
Brought
job of
life
combining
to
the
it.
two.
I'd say it brought life to it because, like, I'll admit, I didn't like Phoenix's model in seeing the screenshots and the trailers.
Yeah,
But when you
it
see
didn't
it
look
there-
good quality at first, but when you see it in action, it's really good.
Yeah, like the characters, they like shuffle in their steps, they breathe.
There's
They,
they've put so much effort into it. Like it's like the Layton games. They'll always have heaps of voice acting, a few animations, and all that. But they go out of their way in Professor Layton vs Ace Attorney, down to the details. Like every witness who yells "Hold it" has their own voice clip, and
Yes.
there'll be animations that are used in like one scene and never again.
like Phoenix walking around while he's
Yeah,
thinking.
like it's just all this crazy stuff. And they did a would it be considered a remix of like the original Ace Attorney tracks, which are used in the prologue and never again?
Yes.
And it's like, wow, they put so much effort into this. It's ridiculous.
Shame about that ending. Because like if you're not prepared for it, it's gonna come as a punch to the gut.
If someone's
I'm
never
on
played a
Neo-
Layton game before, they would be so pissed off.
Yeah, like I'm on NeoGAF, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, this ending is terrible," and like people are there like, calm down, Layton, guys, you calm down. The game is still great, right?" And they had to like remind him of how good everything else was.
Because that's the thing, everything else is just so consistently good.
Another little touch that I absolutely loved because it cracked me up when I first heard it. Sir! The ringing in Phoenix's ears with that face of his is perfect.
It's so good. I just love this game so much, and it hasn't got the attention it deserves.
Oh, I want another one already.
I know that, like, I could just keep playing these forever. Like, that game could never have ended. It could have had, like, 50 bazillion cases.
Yes,
I would have just kept playing, because Layton and Phoenix going around solving medieval mysteries was just amazing.
You know what I would love to see for a sequel?
What?
Maybe, because, like, this was definitely more Layton than it was Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, you know, setting and story.
So we go for a Layton Phoenix buddy cop movie.
Yes, what if we kind of switch it a bit?
That would be pretty cool. Except Layton would be so broken. It's like, oh that's weird.
Layton would
There's
have
no
no
evidence here. Oh, well, you see what actually happened was the criminal used invisible monkeys to fly in and steal the evidence, while he was in the other room killing the victim, which he then put into a magical flying truck catapult, which flung the victim to another area of the crime scene, and that's why there was no evidence. And also they're Don Paolo.
You know, I was gonna throw in that last bit if you did it.
And then
Oh,
at the
he'd
end
have-
it pulls a
he'd
like a twist,
panic.
and it's just like, no one died, it was all a prank, Phoenix, happy birthday.
As he's like dancing around with a corpse that doesn't have a head. was gonna say something, but it completely... Oh, yes. I never thought I would say that I wanted to punch Luke Triton in the face. I never thought I'd say that. He's such a nice kid in the Layton games and in the movie, but in this game, honestly, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It isn't. I don't blame the kid.
It so much. That twist is so good.
And it was good. And it's like, okay, Layton gets turned to stone, and the person accused is Maya. And so, like, I'm like, oh, well, poor Luke, but he can't possibly blame Maya.
Yeah, and everyone's like, where's Luke? Where's Luke? And then Luke's on the witness stand, and it's like, whoa.
And he's like, burn her, she's a witch. I'm like, shut up, you stupid idiot.
That case, that's pretty much where, it feels like that's where the Dual Destinies team got their twist from.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's like, oh, well, your ally turns against you and learns the true meaning of truth. And there's an androgynous male who turns out to actually be female all along. Yeah, and I was like, hang on, this is Dual Destiny.
Wait a second, let me just check right. Oh no. The dark age of the law is here. Okay, and then later on when all that is kind of like taken care of, and Maya is quote unquote dead, and Layton is turned to gold, quote unquote. And Luke has the audacity to say to Phoenix, who is still obviously grieving somewhat at this point, it's okay, I'm certain that that we can reverse the magic done on the professor.
It's just like, you little twat.
You little bitch. But that was probably my favorite moment in the game. All of Chapter 5.
It was
amazing. Taste of despair.
And then when you go into the bar and then
start playing Turnabout Sisters,
I was crying. I was like, no.
I wanted to so bad, but I was like, no, I was spoiled.
That was brutal.
If anything, what got me teary-eyed was just seeing Phoenix like that.
He was
about
so
to punch
broken.
A man in the face. Phoenix, the nicest guy in the world, I would dare say, about to punch a guy in the face out of pure anger. It was just, man.
You know who it reminded me of?
Who?
Spider-Man.
Now listen to me. Listen to me, Josh. Josh.
I'm listening.
I need you to listen to me. What if, during the first witch trial, Kira swapped brains with Isabella? That's why she was saying she's the great witch.
And the only reason Layton came back was because he sold the soul of his infant, unborn daughter.
No, he sold the soul of whoever the heck that is in Layton Brothers. The what?
In what game? I don't know what you're talking
this
about.
Game.
This doesn't sound like something that exists.
Oh man.
Okay, but seriously, next time they need to chuck a ghost trick in the crossover for no reason. Somehow. Did you see that room? That April? It wasn't a room. It was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, I posted it. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, was it you who posted it? Well, that's all good. But it was like Layton vs Ace 32, which had Ghost Trick and Layton Brothers in it. And I was like,
and we're ignoring one half of this.
And I was like, you know what? I don't like Layton Brothers, but I still want this to happen.
I remember I downloaded Layton Brothers. I was like, I like the music.
I still haven't played it. I'm scared. I want to download it just to see if it's as bad as it sounds.
Oh, so you haven't played it?
I'm scared.
Well, okay, let me tell you. It's not Layton at all.
Yeah, that's the weird
It's
thing.
Layton in name only.
Yeah. That's
so you.
That's
this
the thing
could
that
have been a
sounds so
completely
annoying about
different
it.
game.
It sounds like it's a decent game, but then they're like, "Oh yeah, now it's about Layton's son." And it's like, "Whoa, hang on,
It's
what?"
like, who did he have this son with?
And where is
Claire
he?
is dead.
and where is he? And why is he not with his son? And why is his son's his son's obnoxious and stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Layton, I didn't figure you were a baby daddy.
Maybe
Okay,
maybe his son just cracks after being forced to do puzzles all day. We'll see, son.
You'll do them and you'll like it.
We'll see, son. You're given 2 pieces of toast and 1 egg, but if you cut the toast in the right manner, then you'll be able to spread the egg equally across each piece of bread.
What?
Dad, I just want to eat, please.
Please, Dad, I'm so hungry. No, son. A true gentleman survives only off of puzzles.
Oh,
And can we talk about Phoenix's reactions to the puzzles?
And when in the final trial, when it's revealed that Darklaw solved the puzzle as a child, and Maya's like, she was a kid, Phoenix, what's your excuse?
Hey, I just started doing this.
Oh, man.
Oh, but I love, like, when Layton's first introducing the concept of puzzles to him. It's like, okay, you have 2 loaves of bread. They make an 11. How can I reduce this? How can I turn this into a smaller number? Phoenix takes away one of the breads. It's a 1.
It's like, just throw the bread away.
Yeah, just throw the bread away. And like, no, you have to add a 3rd piece.
He's like, shut up, Layton.
You don't question. Well, that's certainly an interesting way to solve it. Are you calling
I
me
love
dumb?
how condescending Layton is while being so subtle about it.
Layton's insults hurt even more. Because, like, he doesn't want to be mean about it. But what you just said just is so stupid that he has to insult you somehow to the best of his ability.
I know.
Okay, well, what if you just turn this bread in the middle and it's a -1, -1, 0 there? It's like, well, that's certainly unique.
They were coming up with all
What
these
if we
ways to
just
solve
eat
his
the
puzzle
bread?
that he hadn't intended. He's like, no, you're ruining it. You're not doing it right.
Okay, so let's talk about another thing. Where does this rank for you in both Layton games and Ace Attorney games?
I haven't played all the Layton games.
It's okay, I'm in the same boat. Just rank the ones you've played.
I finished the first 4, so I'd say it's better than all of them except Unwound Future. I don't know how I'd place in the Ace Attorney games. Maybe tied for 2nd.
Yeah, the Ace Attorney one is really confusing to place.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like, super... Its format is so different.
Yeah,
that
like
you
it's
don't know
hard
if you
to
can compare
rate them in both series because it's a different kind of game to both, while also being the same as both, and it's a little confusing.
Yeah, I will say I did like Unwound Future better because that ending for Unwound
The
Future.
ending was. Oh.
And definitely higher than Diabolical Box and Mystery Mask, the only other 2 I played.
I've played the Mask one, but I haven't finished it. But yeah, so far it's not grabbing me as much as the others because you can kind of see where it's going already.
Mm-hmm. It feels like a filler game.
I want to play Ezra and Legacies though, because apparently that's Unwound Future quality.
I saw the spoilers for that one by
Ooh.
accident. And I don't know. It sounds. I'll let you find out.
Okay.
As far as where it ranks in the Ace Attorney games for me, like you said, it's really hard. I want to say 3rd.
Okay. Which would you say are better than it?
Trials and Tribulations being 1st for me.
Yeah.
The first Ace Attorney being 2nd.
Okay.
And this one being 3rd. Dual Destinies being 4th. I still debate this one. I'm gonna switch it around from what I usually say. Justice for All at 5th, and Apollo Justice at 6th.
Yeah, Justice for All and Apollo Justice are really arguable.
I'm
I'm always switching them around too, because it's like, oh, well, Justice for All had that amazing last case that it introduced Cyclops, but everything else was kind of dumb. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Apollo Justice started off really cool and had the whole Dark Phoenix sort of thing and had that amazing first case with that crazy twist no one saw coming, but everything else wasn't that great.
Yeah, with me, it's like, okay, Justice for All had some real stinkers, but it introduced Pearl, Cyclops, and that final case.
Mm.
And then just with Apollo Justice, okay, Dark Phoenix is what I'm calling it.
Yeah, I realized when I said it, I'm like, oh, Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, that
I
has
see what I
good
did
into
there.
I like Apollo and Trucy. I like Christoph. I really like Christoph.
Yes.
And I did enjoy that little bit in the past when Phoenix adopts Trucy.
Hmm.
And it's just those additions that kind of like, I don't know, like.
And the second case wasn't bad. The second case was just kind of an average case, but then the third one was really bad.
The third one was a stinker.
And then the fourth was really missed opportunity.
Yeah, let's not even get started on Clavier as a prosecutor.
He was a prosecutor?
Didn't seem like it, right?
Hey,
remember how he knew Machi was blind? Remember how he knew that Laminor wasn't blind?
Remember how he helps you solve the cases? Or it doesn't even help, he actually goes out and solves them for you?
But like I said, like I like the addition of Apollo and Trucy because I think Trucy's a really sweet character.
Yeah.
Like it makes me smile. Phoenix is a dad.
Yeah.
And then I like Apollo because he's this. He's even if it makes sense. He's even more normal than Phoenix. In such a crazy world, and he's just ripe to be like the character everyone makes fun of. Which is what they do in Dual Destinies, and it's great for it.
Dual Destinies was so much better for Apollo than his own freaking game.
Yes, which is hilarious. I wouldn't mind seeing Phoenix just step into the background from now on for Ace Attorney 6. Maybe
he was
one
kind
case,
of in the background, I guess.
Yeah, but I want to see it more. Like maybe only have him playable for one case.
Yeah, the final
What
case.
I don't want to
when
see
Maya
in
dies.
Ace
I mean, what?
You son of a bitch. You come here. Come here from Australia. And I will strangle your foreign neck.
I'm just kidding. They're not going to even bring her back. It's funny because it's probably true.
I know, that's the worst part.
Oh yeah, I never ranked my games.
Oh, I'm sorry.
First, I'd actually put the first game first, and then tied for second, I'd have Trials and Tribulations and the Layton crossover, and then whatever order for Justice for All and Apollo Justice because I can't decide.
Yeah, in regards to Trials and Tribulations versus the first Ace Attorney game, I love them both so much.
Yeah.
But I lean towards Trials and Tribulations because the final case really wrapped up the series as a whole.
Yeah,
really
it was
well.
a great finale.
And then I didn't feel that there was a single weak case in Trials and Tribulations. Like, none of the cases felt like filler to me, whereas you can argue that Turnabout Samurai.
I really liked Turnabout Samurai.
I love Turnabout Samurai. But, like, when you're first playing through it, people say it's kind of slow compared to the other cases.
Maybe.
Which I can see. But I love Turnabout Samurai because it provides heaps of development.
Like, and I think that's a big part of the reason why I ranked the first one first, because it introduces all these characters that we know now, and develops them to a point where if the first game was the only game, that would have been enough.
Yeah. You know, I definitely see that, but I just... Godo. Godo, those... just that finale is what gives it that extra edge for me. That, and I like I said, I really didn't feel like there was a weak case in Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah, none of them were weak, but like I don't think the second and third ones really stood out too much there.
Really, because I felt like Luke Atme and Furio Tigre were a bit of a step up from the average Ace Attorney villain.
Luke Atme, I guess, but I don't know, Furio was just... an angry puppet.
Furio, yeah, but you know that the kind of what made Furio memorable was that he was the anti-Phoenix.
He's Venom.
Yeah, he's Phoenix's Venom.
He's Gus.
Like, no, I wouldn't go that.
No, he's not. He's just like.
He's not Gus. Christoph is Gus.
Yeah, Christoph's Gus.
Christoph's the best basic character. Which is funny because I think he comes from what you can argue is the worst game.
Yeah, they didn't go far enough with him. He didn't get a good resolution.
Yeah, that's my influence on you too.
Yeah, I'll accept that. All you're talking about him, I'm like, you know what? He's a lot better than the game made him out to be.
Because he's one of those villains you have to think about.
Yeah. And his
Which
influence
is
on Apollo and Dual Destinies
was, ooh man, that was really good.
I didn't notice it at first, and then you pointed it out. It's like, oh my god, this makes this case so much better.
Yeah. Because he did the pose.
Yeah, the pose. I didn't notice it at first, and then I was like, oh my god, this is a thing that actually happened. And it's so good because, if you look at the ending of Apollo Justice, it ends with Apollo saying, or like the ending of the court section, not the actual game, but it ends with Apollo saying,
that section. Yeah.
I don't know what, you know what?
Evidence is
Maybe I
everything
don't
in court.
understand what the law is yet. I've got to keep searching until I find my truth. And then the whole Dual Destinies is about that, and it leads up to him adopting Christoph's beliefs instead of Phoenix's, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, I hope Christoph gets at least some closure in Ace Attorney 6. Because
well, I think now that they've released the first 3 games in Dual Destinies on so many platforms now, I think they won't be as afraid of alienating new players now. So
I hope so. Because that, like, I love Dual Destinies. I really do. But, and like I do, like it did have some nice callbacks to the past games, like Phoenix referencing case 2-2 in 5-2. For the unaware, the code for that is he referenced Reunion and Turnabout, the locked room murder in the yokai case.
Yeah, Turnabout,
Beast.
Monstrous Turnabout. That's the one.
Turnabout Bloodborne.
Turnabout Blaziken.
Turnabout Malamar.
Oh god. Oh, can we talk about Sherlock Holmes?
Okay, I wanted to get into that soon.
Yes. I saw that news and I was like, is this a joke? And then I saw he retweeted it, and it was some just trustworthy people on Twitter, and I was like, oh my god. And then there was the NeoGAF thread with the silhouette images, and I was like, this is happening. Someone hold me.
I was telling people the other day, if you were to ask me before this if I was interested in the Great Ace Attorney, I would go, yeah. Because I'm not too keen on the idea of Phoenix's great-grandfather being like one of the first defense attorneys. I feel that's like really grasping.
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about this before, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Yeah, and then we were talking about how it would be weird if everyone's ancestors show up in the game as well. It's kind of the same game but earlier, and it's like, oh look, we're all destined to continue these roles and stuff. It's like, that's really cheesy.
Yeah, and that's what I hate, but that's like what I love about Ace Attorney is that it doesn't take those anime cliches. It's very subtle. Except for Dual Destiny.
Oh, right!
No, but
wow,
you know what I mean?
tripping
You know, because like Ace Attorney does this thing where it shows you, it doesn't tell you. You don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be like, hey, look, me and Maya made each other these friendship bracelets. Mine's around my neck. It doesn't have to do that. Like you just see the relationship grow from game to game, and by the end you know they're best buds. But
they're not a couple because it's confirmed in Layton vs. Ace Attorney.
How so?
Didn't you see that line of dialogue?
We're not romantically involved?
Yeah. Where the
they're not.
Yeah. the judge is like, "Oh, are you with Sir Blue Knight?" And she's like, "Oh
No,
we're not
the line of dialogue is she says, "I'm with Sir Blue Knight." Not romantically.
Yeah.
Why did you mention that, Maya? You feeling a bit put on the spot there?
No, just accept it. It's not canon.
It'll happen later.
No, it's not canon. I'm sorry.
No, it'll never happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry for your loss. Uncle Hein.
You shot
Okay, so
Uncle Maya. Oh no,
Okay,
it
so
was
go-
Uncle Gumshoe, wasn't it? Uncle Gumshoe.
Uncle Gumshoe, you shot Uncle Gumshoe. You killed Uncle Gumshoe, didn't you? No. Okay, going back to to Sherlock Holmes. So yeah, before the Sherlock Holmes thing, I was like, yeah, I'm interested in Great Ace Attorney. And then when I see you messaged me in the middle of the night, I'm like, what is that?
Because you weren't
buzzing?
awake, and I was like, "Oh my god, this would be the greatest news ever for Jalen." So I'm like spamming it on Facebook. Jalen.
Jalen, please wake up. And I'm like, what is that buzzing? And then I go over to my phone, and it's like, Jalen. Like,
And I'm like, did you see?
I better
Did
go
you see
check.
it? He's
I
like,
better
"Oh,
go.
What? The Smash
I was like,
Bros
what? Did the
thing?"
Smash?
I'm like, no.
I was like, oh, what? Did the Smash Brothers roster leak? And I go to Neograph. There's a menu pick. What? And he's like, you didn't see? I'm like, okay, fine. And I go to Twitter and I'm scrolling down and like, I'm like, what am I supposed to be looking for? And I still thought it was Smash news, but and I scroll past court records, and Sherlock Holmes in Great Ace Attorney. And I'm like, what?
It's the most amazing thing.
Yo, this is Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
And Watson's an 8-year-old girl.
Okay, now I have. A lot of people are blowing that out of proportion. For all people know, it could be Watson's daughter.
No, but that wouldn't be fun.
But like a lot of people are like, oh, common Japan.
Oh yeah, it's like it's not going to be some creepy lolly thing. It's
Yeah, I mean, like, Takumi doesn't write like that.
yeah, it'll probably subvert it, and she's going to be like this really cold, calculating.
Which is why I told you what I told you.
Yeah. Do we want to speculate about the big twist at the end of the game?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Putting imaginary
Bison dollars.
bison dollars down. That girl's gonna turn out to be Moriarty in the final case.
God, I hope so. You're gonna have me so disappointed if she's not.
I'm gonna have you so disappointed, just like when I had you super disappointed that Apollo wasn't the prosecutor. And when I first was telling you that, you're like, no, it's never gonna happen. No, it's never gonna happen.
And then I
Think about
gradually
it.
transitioned over, and I'm like, okay,
Think
he's gonna be
about it,
prosecutor. This is
Josh.
gonna be the best game.
And then you're like, yeah, he's gonna be the prosecutor. It's gonna be the best thing. And I'm like, Josh, he's not gonna be the prosecutor.
Shut up. You sent me down this path. That would have been so cool if he was.
Pretty. Oh, it would have been. Because remember what I was telling you? Look, his eye patch is on the.
Oh yeah, it's
the
on this
right
side, so if he's on the prosecutor's bench, it won't cover up his face, but if he's on the defense bench, you won't be able to see his face properly.
Yeah. And it turned out to not matter anyway.
Yeah, because he not only is he not a prosecutor, but he stands on the defense bench with his face covered by the bandage.
Y'all don't know anything about design.
It's like when I almost got you excited for Peter Parker being the Goblin King.
Oh my gosh. I am still super mad at Dan Slott. not only for the way Superior ended, but because I felt like he was stealing all of my ideas. And I hate that. Like, I forgot what else did it too. I was watching Avatar. Legend of Korra. Like, everyone stop stealing my ideas.
I hate it when that happens. Like even when I was playing Dual Destinies, when I was planning like a fan, I wasn't really planning it, but I just write down ideas
Yeah,
sometimes.
you were.
And it was like a fan game, and the villain was going to be like a master of disguise, and the breakdown was going to be tearing off all their faces that they've used throughout the game. And I was like, no, you bastards!
Don't do this. Hey, but they still haven't stolen my brilliant idea of having your legal aid be the murderer in one case, like legit.
Turnabout Substitution did it, but that's a fan game.
That doesn't count.
It does.
That's not canon.
It might be.
It's just as canon as the Sonic comics.
Does Sonic even have a canon?
No. Well, he does, but it doesn't matter.
Sonic in general just doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
No.
And you know what the funny
Worst
thing
game
is? He's not gonna watch this.
He probably won't. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably get bored after like 10 minutes.
No, we're hilarious.
We're great. We're the best.
We need to do this more often.
What were we talking about? We got so off track. That's right. Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man.
Yes, we were talking about Spider-Man. This video is entirely about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The Spoilsports Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney video is about Spider-Man.
Specifically Superior Spider-Man.
Specifically the Superior Spider-Man.
Specifically Goblin Nation.
Yes.
I can't believe they teased the Goblin King so long just for it to actually be Norman Osborn.
For it to be exactly who they were saying it was.
It's like, haha, I'm Norman Osborn, but not really. Wink, wink, wink. Oh yeah, sorry, I actually was. Huh. Well.
Slot?
Slot! I tried to be optimistic and read amazing, but I read the first issue and I was like, yeah, this doesn't seem to be going somewhere I like.
I'm really interested in that Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, I'll read that. I'm a sucker. You can't push me away for too long.
Yeah.
You just need to promise something stupid like that, and I'll be like, oh, yes, I watch it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman?
Yes, that is exactly what I was about to bring up. I was like, okay, I want this to be a full series. This is a great idea. I am a sucker for these alternate universe ideas.
Oh, have you read the Spider-Man 2099 series?
No, I haven't. Have you?
I bought the first issue and then I only just remembered that I actually have it, so I should probably read it.
So yeah, Ace Attorney.
Yeah. Take that. Haha.
Hold it.
Have a look. I love how they didn't want to make him yell take that because it's so uncivilized. And he's just like, have a look at my evidence.
You barbarian. I really hope when Phoenix goes home to the to the office, hey Pearl, oh you won't believe what me and Maya have been through. Two dogs are going up a hill for a spot of tape. Oh God, no.
Well, Mr. Wright, you've been away for a long time. We just want to make sure that you're up to scratch. Okay, sure. Ask me a few questions. So, Mr. Wright, two dogs walking.
Well, pal, you've been away for a while now. I just want to make sure you're up to speed. Sure thing, detective. Two dogs are going up a hill for a spot of tea.
It's like,
I dropped my hamburger.
I confess. I'll tell you everything. I've got you now. Tell us exactly what happened. Well, there were two dogs, you see. They went up to the hill to...
Pick out the goats. Which goat is saying banana? Which one is going boo boo ba?
If we want to open this safe that has the conclusive evidence into it, we need to slide this ball into place across the lock.
We need to find a way to get these blocks to fit perfectly in the other side. Oh no, pal. Looks like I dropped my hamburger. Can you help me put it back together? I won't be able to concentrate on my work on an empty stomach.
And that would finally make him snap.
That's exactly why he's so bitter in that flashback.
You stole my joke. We've already had this conversation, and that was my joke at the end of it.
I realized you never mentioned it.
I was going to.
No, you weren't.
Now everyone's gonna remember you as the teller of the joke.
I am the one who said it. Me.
I am the one who knocks.
I am the funny.
You think I'm going on these podcasts and laughing at people's jokes? You think that of me? No, I am the Joker.
Is that what you think of me? You think I'm listening to these jokers? These wannabes on the podcast? You think I'm laughing at their jokes? You think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks. I am the funny.
You killed Uncle Gumshoe.
We never explained that.
Guten Tag, DEA.
Guten Tag, DEA.
Okay, let's explain it, because we're never
Let's
actually gonna
explain
make this video series, so let's do it.
No one's gonna steal our
It was an awesome idea that we came up with, but you never followed through with your ideas.
Hey.
Remember that
hey,
event?
hey.
Remember all those events you
Hey.
were telling on the page that mysteriously disappeared? Yeah, you know what I'm
College.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Under the table?
Part-time job, full-time student, sir.
There's no excuse. You're
I
not
know.
an artist.
I can't suffer for my art hard enough. So let's actually explain the joke while
Okay.
I feel terrible.
Yeah, let's explain our jokes. So the people won't just think we're weird. As much.
As much. We are weird.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Big
weird.
comment.
You're for.
That's racist.
You're racist.
I'll cut you open, mate.
I'll boss your fucking head in.
Bust your fucking head in, I swear, my mum.
Ah. Okay, let's explain the joke.
Okay.
Two dogs are going up the hill, there is.
So, we were thinking of making a Phoenix Wright Bridge series. And that didn't go anywhere because Jaylen's like, no, we wouldn't be able to do it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, only like 2 people auditioned in my defense.
I could have done all the voices. I have a great range.
Oh, sure thing, Maya.
Everyone could be Australian. It would be a really great original take. It's just like this fan fiction I wrote once. And okay, so yeah, we're gonna make Phoenix Wright Abridged, except all the jokes we kept making were instead talking about Breaking Bad, because I was just starting to watch the series, and we were referring to events using Ace Attorney characters so that we wouldn't spoil it for anyone. Except then we realized how similar some of the events and characters from the show are to the game. Like, we were talking about Phoenix being Walter, obviously, and Apollo being Jesse, Gus being Kristoff, Clevia being
Tortuga.
Clevia was gonna be what's his name?
I said it, Tortuga.
Oh, yeah, Tortuga, that's the one. The guy who gets his head cut off and put in the tortoise with the message "Holla DEA," except it was gonna say "Guten Tag DEA," and Gumshoe was gonna be Hank, and
That one really fits.
Clay was gonna be.
Oh my gosh, Clay was gonna be Jane, right?
And Shelly the
remember
Killer was
what
gonna
it
be
was?
Mike.
Wait, who? Yeah, Shelly the Killer was gonna be Mike.
And was Payne the soul?
Yes, Payne with the hair was so good.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, good lord.
I wish we could actually make that.
We, oh man. I don't have a good editing program. We can't get voices. Also, one thing you left out was how they weren't actually cooking meth.
Yeah, oh yeah. It wasn't gonna be called Breaking Bad. It was gonna be called Baking Bread. And it was gonna have Phoenix with his apron from Layton vs. Attorney, because they break bread.
Oh God, remember?
You know who I am?
When you bring up...
I'm the one who killed Christoph Gavin. Oh shit, the circus killed Gavin.
That's right, Acro was gonna be Theo.
Do you really think so? Are you sure? Now say my name. So Blue Knight. You're goddamn right. And it was gonna come up with a screen with Wright spelled with a W.
Yeah. But like, you gave me the most hilarious mental image right now of Clay lying in his bed choking on bread.
Oh my god. Oh man.
And Solomon Starbuck causes 2 space shuttles to crash into each other in his grave. And a pink teddy and a pink blue badge, the pink badger falls from space into Phoenix's, I don't know, sink.
Oh my god. And Furio Tigre was gonna be Tuco, and Acro was gonna be
Theo.
He was gonna be Hector, and he was gonna ring the bell and
Ding 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 ding.
Look at me, Acro.
Look at me, Acro.
The acrobat tradition is dead.
El crippled little bata.
Oh,
The
man.
circus is dead.
Oh god.
Oh.
Good times.
Oh. Good times, good times. I'm gonna be posting this on the page and they're gonna be like, look what they're doing instead of RPing.
They don't care about us anymore.
No, we're has-beens.
We're
I've been
relics
looking-
of a bygone age.
I was looking at old posts on the page back in my prime.
That time we did Spider-Man fan fiction.
Back when...
We brain swapped Kristoff and Phoenix.
Back when we meant something to these people.
Yeah, we
Back
meant...
when they called us geniuses.
No, they called us naughty words.
Yeah. They threatened to wring our necks. But they loved it. In the end, they loved it. And,
It perfectly mirrored the fan base's reaction to Superior Spider-Man.
Yes.
Fuck you can't do this! You can't kill off Phoenix! Kristoff's a bad guy, he can't be Spider-Man.
No, shut up. Look, he's Phoenix.
No, but actually, this is a good idea, you know? Now he's approaching law from a different way. Now he's kind of starting to turn around and... No, he forged evidence! What are you doing? Phoenix can't forge evidence? This is stupid!
Except for the fact he did.
Yeah, but Apollo Justice didn't happen, remember?
Oh god. Also remember when it was just me and you on the page, and I was leading up to the New Year's event, where I was gonna disbar Phoenix, and everyone was acting like it was the end of the world.
Then Phoenix was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have my friend over," and you were posting as his friend with question marks, and everyone was swearing at this friend, going, "Piss off," because they thought it was Krista, and then
Because
you
I
revealed it
put
was
a
Layton.
I put a silhouette of Kristoff with question marks and I'm like, oh look, my friend is over. And I was like, God hell.
And then you revealed it was Layton, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's okay."
Oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. Oh, but everyone was acting like I was the devil. And like I remember you would message me, you would be like, how do you feel, Jalen? How do you feel, Dan Slott? I was like, and then like, so I remember one of the people was telling me, like, well, these characters mean so much to you, Jalen. How would you dare do this? Because it happened in canon. No, this is your OTP you're ruining.
And then when we were doing the Dying Wish event and we were teasing that Maya was gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it was like, nope, we brain swapped Phoenix and Kristoff.
And we played it totally straight.
And then halfway through the event, Maya gets shot. And everyone was like, no, no.
Because you showed me the original script you had made for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is great. But Josh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play it absolutely straight for the first day.
Yeah.
Then at the very last second on the first day, when Kristoff is lying there bleeding on the floor, I'm going to reveal that it was Phoenix.
I'm so glad you did that.
And then the second day was going to be
Phoenix's
everything
perspective.
from Phoenix / Kristoff's point of view.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. The reaction we got out of that. We gained likes. we were fully prepared. We're gonna plummet.
We thought everyone was gonna hate us.
They did, but they loved it.
And remember when we did the Halloween ARG?
Yes. I can't thank you enough. That was
It was such a spur of the moment thing, but it was so fun. And we got so many people in on it, and the whole other pages would, instead of talking about whatever they normally talk about, they're trying to solve our puzzle.
yeah, like that Deadpool page.
Yeah.
Mr. Wade T. Wilson, he was super into it, like, guys, everyone go over there. Try and decrypt this video. What's the evidence in this video?
And then I was trying to put hints in the tags, except then I found out YouTube doesn't show the tags anymore.
Yeah, and so.
So I made the video that was saying, look at the tags and stuff. And then they were like, what tags? And I was like, what? Then I looked at it, I was like, oh god, half of my hits haven't shown up. People still got most of them though.
Surprise, yeah?
I went with some really weird puzzles.
Dude,
like inverted QR codes and sheet music and stuff.
Your videos were creepy. They scared me.
They were making me creeped out too. And then
and
then on the final day, when we were like, guys, you've forgotten something. What was the badger doing last night? And then it breaks into the magical mystery tour. It had the badger head flying around Los Angeles.
What? Mystery tour. And then the post-credit scene.
With pain. From the Avengers.
Do you still have those somewhere?
They're still on YouTube.
They're still on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and track them down.
I'll look it up now while we're talking.
Send me the link so that I can put them in the description. If people listen this far.
Yeah, for all 5 people.
Yeah, for all 5 of you who are going to watch this on my channel, and then for the other 5 of you who still care about the page.
Other than us.
Other than us.
Okay, I'm posting this in the chat log.
That's still my biggest regret, that like I kind of like got really that I had that event, that I got really busy. I just left it there for a month.
That event I made the game for and everything.
and like, since we had gained a ton of likes between then, I was like, oh my gosh, these people are gonna be so lost.
Oh yeah, when we do all that stuff.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? And so like I just left it. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I have all these influx of new likes. I can't continue with my with the current story. Everyone's gonna be like, what's this? This is weird. Why did I like this page? And I was like, but there's still the other fans there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do something.
And then we started doing the alternate universe Phoenix thing.
No, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, you want to talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
And then I made the game, and everyone was like, it's too hard. And I'm like, playing Jalen.
Yeah, because I pushed you like, dude, this is too easy.
Because I was making it finishable so people could actually see the ending and follow the plot. And you're like, no. Chuck an extra badges into the boss fight. And I was like, are you serious? They're hard enough to kill on their own, let alone when you've got Kefka Payne.
Blocked. I was Camilla.
Oh, we should have had Cameo as a boss.
Speaking of Kamiya, he blocked me.
Did he actually?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
Because like I was getting kind of annoyed by his attitude. And like he did the like as I told you like 100 million billion times. I'll block all Smash idiots, and I just replied to him, how many times?
Oh man.
Like I love the guy.
If he was a Western developer, he would have been crucified ages ago.
Oh yeah. Look, thankfully he's not, and he's still making amazing games.
And big funny as hell to follow on Twitter.
I wouldn't know.
You can still follow him, can't you? You just can't reply to him.
No, I can't follow him.
Oh, geez.
I'm not allowed to follow him. But I can still go to his Twitter page and look at his tweets. Which is probably better because like I don't have to be spammed by it. By like an entire list of block.
It's hilarious though how people just don't get it. And they just keep asking him the same questions like, oh, is Bayonetta to be in Smash Bros?
No, I think they do get it.
You think everyone's just trolling him?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Oh god, I'm watching the Badger video again. I got to the bit where the Badger head's flying through the air. Oh, that was fun.
Oh man.
We've got to do something stupid like that again.
We do, I'll tell you after this video, but I don't know. I think I may have a solution to our problem. And I'm hoping I can, like, I'm not going to say anything officially until I have it done.
Yeah. Is it a Halloween event?
No. Like, I want to be able... I want to be able to reboot the page. So that way we can keep... Because I think enough people have played Dual Destinies by now. That was another concern of mine.
Let's just spoil the Layton crossover for them.
Oh gosh, that's another one.
Let's do it. Let's just bring it all into canon. And...
You know what? Let's just do it. Everything's canon.
Let's just post it now. Bazella's the cat. I told Matt, yeah, Bazella was the cat. You should have seen his Facebook log with me. He was so angry.
Didn't you show it to me?
That wasn't the whole log.
What was the log?
That was just the highlight where he's like, I swear to God, if you spoil the game for me, I will make you suffer.
I remember.
I will rip all the joy out of your life. I was laughing, but then he was like, I can't sleep. I've got to study for an exam. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to ruin his life.
It was funny because I was telling him fake spoilers one time. Well, he posting on he kept posting on Viz Media's wall.
Yeah.
And it was covering my feed. And I was telling him, Matt, for every post you put on Viz Media's wall, I will spoil something of the game for you. It's like, you don't know anything Edgeworth is a mid-credit scene. He's like, are you serious? Are you serious? Am I? I told him I wasn't, but I lied.
It was so funny. I wanted to leave him for 3 days because he was only up to like chapter 3, so he would have seen.
He's still on chapter 3.
He would have seen all the bait and switch hints from the game that Dark Lord's Bazella, and Bazella is the cat.
Because Darklaw is Eve,
but not Eve the cat because they're different.
What a dark ending.
It was great.
Oh yeah, I remember on Twitter when we were just talking to him, telling him, like I told him,
was this the joke
guys,
spoiler thing where we were like
we like throw on a bunch of fake spoilers and toss in a real one.
Bazella is a hallucination. Bazella is drugs. Bazella is a robot from the future and also drugs.
If you clang 2 spoons together, you just fall asleep. Okay, one question. How on earth was Darklaw able to pull all that, or Eve, whatever, able to pull all that off in London at the very beginning of the game?
Actual magic.
No. I was thinking, okay,
it makes a
maybe
lot of plot holes at the beginning of the game.
I was thinking, like, I was watching the cutscene again, like, right before we did this.
And there was no time for them to be brainwashed into not seeing the black.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, well, okay, well, maybe that wind she's creating is, like, the hallucinogen?
I don't know, the hallucinogen was in the book, but they never told them that they couldn't see black, so they would have seen all the machinery she was using to fly around.
Yeah. My gosh, that makes a huge plot hole. And then how did those two statues become
It explains
alive?
that in the DLC.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I read that. Doesn't it say that, like,
They're robots.
yeah, that the robots,
Yep.
basically, because Labarium Corp
Yeah,
owns
has
that
invented
park.
sophisticated AI or something. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't like about the ending
Meanwhile,
Was
black
it-
and white photos.
but where it was like, oh, but storyteller, why were you gonna write yourself out of the story and abandon your child?
Oh.
Because I have a terminal disease. Oh no, that's terrible, you're dying? No, because they're
Nah.
just gonna call that we actually have a cure for the terminal disease. Oh, well that's great.
That's good. But this cure is cursed. That's bad. But it comes with free frozen
Frogan.
yogurt. Okay, that's good.
The Frogan.
The Frogan is also cursed. That's bad. It comes with your choice of toppings. That's good.
The toppings contain, what is it, potassium?
Yeah,
Hydro
it's-
something.
Silamide or whatever. It's like,
That's bad.
that's bad. I love The Simpsons.
Good show.
That video you shared of from when Homer becomes Krusty the Clown.
And he's beating up Crom.
Where we have Homer as Captain Falcon beating up Crumb. And then Lucy like,
Stop! He's already
already dead.
Oh man.
Why you little?
Good times.
Hilarious. Did we ever keep talking about Sherlock Holmes?
I think so. Because we're talking about Moriarty.
Yeah, we mentioned Moriarty, but we didn't really. Did you see that he's not going to be an antagonist?
Yeah,
pretty
he's
much?
teaming up with him, which is...
He's teaming up with you.
I kind of would have preferred an antagonist. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, but it probably. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that would have been good.
But we all know that
Who knows?
Moriarty-
Maybe he'll be antagonistic later.
Maybe. When you start accusing Moriarty.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, who killed John Watson? And it's like, it can't be this girl. She's his daughter. But is she really his daughter? What if she was actually the daughter of someone else? One James Moriarty. Dun, 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 dun.
How good's the music?
Colonial. Huh?
The music in Layton vs. Attorney.
Oh my gosh, that
Amazing.
music is so good.
Amazing.
Like they're like, which is a shame, because I love that final like, the it's in the soundtrack. It's called The Final Witness.
It's
When,
it
Storyteller
sounds
starts-
like Apollo Justice's theme.
kind of.
If you listen to it again, it's like it's Apollo's
The
theme.
darker Apollo's theme. But like it sounded so good, and it had this epic.
It's such
feel.
an epic
But
build up, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take the storyteller down.
Yeah, and then he's like, I own a business called Liberium Corp.
Everything is robots and drugs. If Phoenix,
So why do you wear the outfit?
Because I like the way it feels.
Tell me about Storyteller. Why does he wear the mask?
It does.
Actually, I have a theory. Maybe because though he doesn't smell his own ink.
Maybe.
I remember when they said there was also another thing in the hypnosis. None of these people can see the color black, and I was like, so is Maya and Phoenix bald to these people?
I was like, wait, so I thought, is Darkfloor a floating head?
Like, no, pure black.
It's like,
You
oh,
see the
that's
reflect-
oddly specific.
Oh, yeah. You weren't meant to be brought here, Phoenix.
That was amazing. It's like, so why did you decide to bring me in on your plan? Oh, well,
Oh, that
I
was
didn't. Oh,
Okay.
I see how it is.
My fragile pride.
My favorite track on the soundtrack, I think it's called Link, and it starts off sort of like a... It starts off like an Ace Attorney Logic music,
Yes,
and then
yeah,
it
I know
breaks
the
into the Layton piano from his theme song, and I'm like, oh, ooh, ooh.
one. Another one that's really good is when both Layton and Phoenix
Yeah,
start,
yeah, the
like,
final
deducting-
combination, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that was good. Like,
Oh, and then that credits theme.
oh yes.
How it ends on Turnabout Sisters is like brings a tear to my eye. Like, oh my god!
Oh, I want to play it again. I want another one. I want 5 sequels.
I want another one without a dumb ending. It's funny because I flip flop on the ending so hard. On one
Yeah,
hand,
I know the
I
feeling.
I love how dark the ending is. I love how the reasoning behind it. But on the other hand, it creates so many plot holes, and it's so cartoony that it feels out of place. And like you said, oh ho ho, I got a fun cold I did. We got a cure. Okay. Speaking of that really bad Irish accent I just did for the storyteller, his actual voice
He's so
was like,
good.
did they get an Oscar winner to come in and
It's
record
so
these lines? What is?
powerful. It's like, wow.
I don't even want to try to impress because I know
I just
won't
want him
do
to
it justice.
read bedtime stories to me forever.
I was like, wow, this is such like okay, going from Maya.
Yes.
Going from Maya's voice, which if any of you in the comments say a thing, I will wreck you, to the storyteller. Like, wow, that's a huge leap. You know what's an even bigger leap?
What?
Dual Destiny's voice acting to this.
I know. God. Some of the voice acting in that game. And the characters that got voices, like, the amount of Phoenix voice acting compared to the amount of, like, Juniper Woods voice acting is so skewed. Phoenix only has, like, a few lines in the entire game.
Hey, you know, speaking of which, did you feel that was the case with this one too? Because I kind of noticed that every time they were doing like spoken dialogue, when it would get to Phoenix or Maya, they would save them for last and it would revert back to the bleeps and bloops before they can say anything.
Sometimes.
You know why I think that is?
Why?
Because in Japan they got the actual actors from the movie to do their voice, and I'm thinking maybe it was a bit too expensive.
Maybe. How good are the criminal breakdowns being voiced though?
I'm kind of mixed on that. I like the first one. I
I
didn't feel like
prologue
the
trial?
breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like the breakdowns were all that
you
memorable.
can't! You can't look at the evidence! And she's like cutting that massive tuna.
Oh my.
I loved the prologue case, even though it was just a really basic tutorial.
Johnny smiles.
Johnny Smiles is amazing.
Oh man. Also the yeah, I didn't really feel like, aside from that one, I didn't feel the breakdowns were really
What about Kira?
like that memorable. Kira was pretty okay. Well, she starts eating her flower, but I don't remember.
Do you like evidence, Mr. Top Hat? Do you like proof, Mr. Lawyer? Well, then how about you prove that I was at the crime scene? You can't prove it. I loved that bit.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm more thinking of like Jean Grey.
Yeah, because she didn't really have a breakdown because she wasn't the culprit.
Yeah.
The culprit wasn't actually there.
Was there even a culprit? How does Goldor work? And I'm not talking about the gold one. I'm talking about Goldor.
Oh,
the green one.
Well,
they
did
saw
you notice
a hole?
that the places that are covered in that they use for the portal are always covered up by something?
She has a huge green wall, though.
Yeah, except the section that was used for the portal is covered up by a bookcase. I'm pretty sure. And on the other side, it's covered up by a painting.
What about the other time?
What other time?
Well, like other times that spell is used, what do? Do they knock the people out? Okay, climb the
shut
spells,
up,
people. Climb, ring the bell, people. Okay, cut a hole in that wall. We need to get the experts in here. Get the drywall glue.
Yeah, but shut up.
Get the hole saw. And she stuck her hands through that portal.
Yeah, but my theory was, in that circumstance, the holes are always covered up, and because she wouldn't ever have to uncover them, she didn't know that there was a hole there the whole time. And when they knock her out with the magic, they just move the stuff out of the way, so the room looks the same, except for the hole there, which she thinks is just a portal.
I'll accept that. Also, are the shades just stalking everyone?
Yeah, but...
Because, like, when she was like, I'm going to go out and try my magic on Goldor. Oh no, the goat.
Yeah, that was dark. And they let that go along the whole time. Like, people know that's fake, and they let her almost commit suicide because
of it.
She was a witch.
So what happened to the goat?
Went to the farm.
The big farm in the sky. The shades ate good.
Pretty much. Oh dear.
Mary had a little one.
I thought she was gonna be the witch.
Really? No, I kind of suspected Kira. Like I was like,
Mary seemed too important to the case, so it was like,
And then when the second, like, Emir, someone said me name. Oh.
Beautiful maiden said me name. Oh, how good is the vigilante, is he Scottish or something?
That little
with the
one?
really long name that he can't pronounce.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not.
Hey, I'm not a man. What you talking about? Say my name.
Say me name.
Say my name. I'm not testifying. This is Kasha. No, that ain't it. I ain't talking to you.
Look at you tooting around up there. And Maya says his name perfectly.
That whole section is just amazing.
Oh yes, the vigilante part is amazing. When they all started coming out, I was like, oh god, am I going to have to interview each and every one of these people? And then I see the last person, oh god, him.
And whenever you press him for more information...
He doesn't give you anything.
No, if you press him at certain points, he gives you information on the first case.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And he's like, and then I heard her yell, Ignaz. That was the other case. Oh, I guess I didn't hear anything then. Carry on.
I'm going back to my green fields.
In the DLC, there's a section with him and the judge, and they're like philosophizing.
The judge was actually a really good character in this game. Which is weird because he looks exactly like a certain other judge.
Imagine if it was the same person.
But that's impossible. He's been there for 10 years.
It's his third brother. That'd be the third brother. The judge actually has 2 brothers.
He has 2 brothers?
Now he does. It's canon.
Nah, yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, there's the Canadian.
Yeah, and then he has another judge brother who's been in Labyrinthia.
Okay, there we go. I'll accept that.
Yeah, it's headcanon now.
It is. Remember that DLC, no, not DLC art, but like the concept art of Labyrinthian Larry and Edgeworth?
Yes.
I wonder how that would have gone.
Well, I think Larry was just going to be a me.
You know what? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And Edgeworth, I don't know, maybe he was going to be the prosecutor originally.
Barnum!
What he said! And we ain't gonna stand for this, Mr. Blue Knight. What he said!
What he said! Oh man, there's just so much energy in it. Man, I missed it.
Oh, I love that game so much.
Shaky. Yeah, he's the fastest one of us.
Who, him? Falls over. Oh man. Well, we've been talking for so long.
We've been. Hold on, I'm gonna let it hit. Okay, we have like 2 minutes towards the 2-hour mark.
Jeez.
And I'm not cutting a single bit of this out.
Oh god.
Everything was gold.
It's all brilliant.
It's all Goldor.
Goldor! Oh, when you're cross-examined the parrot, and Phoenix is like, yeah, I've done this before.
Oh, dearie me!
Goldor! Goldor!
Salam! Clank. Okay, what more can we say, you guys? You've been listening.
It was pretty good, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it was okay. 3 out of 10, awful.
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
If you've been listening this long, we both highly recommend you play the game if you haven't already. I mean, why else would you be listening to this if you plan on?
That would be really dumb. I don't understand you. What is wrong with you?
Unless you're like me.
Friends, and I bet you smell really funny.
Unless you're like me. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have this game yet. I'm gonna go listen to the music. Nice spoiler-free music. What is that thumbnail? Is that Athena with Black Cyclops?
Or the Ace Attorney Investigations 2 guy who put best final boss ever with the thumbnail of the character. We're like, come on, dude, it's not even out yet.
Was that on our page?
No, that wasn't on our page. It was on YouTube. Remember, whenever you looked for Ace Attorney music, it would always be in the thumbnails.
Okay, because I remember a guy on our page would always like talk about Ace Attorney Investigations.
Oh, yeah, there was someone who did that, yeah. And they're like, how come whenever you're talking about your favorite games, you never mention the one that hasn't been released outside of Japan?
Oh, gee, maybe because it hasn't been released outside of Japan. It's funny because like people tell me, "Hey, Jalen, are you gonna play that Ace Attorney Investigations 2 fan translation?" Probably not. Why? I thought you loved Ace Attorney. I like Phoenix. I love Edgeworth. I really do. But I like him better as a side character. And I haven't played the first Ace Attorney Investigations.
It's pretty good, but it's really easy.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm looking at the character designs. I'm like, okay, this is where it's starting to make the jump to really weird character designs.
But yeah, apparently the second one's amazing, but I don't want to play the fan patch in case they actually do release it on the eShop.
Yeah,
because then if I played it, I'd be like, well, I already know what happens, so I don't want to buy it. Then they'll say, oh, no one's buying our Ace Attorney games, I guess no one wants it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I tried telling that to someone, they were like, you know Capcom's never going to release it over here.
Capcom suck and hate us, and that's why they give us 2 Ace Attorney games. Like,
And like,
you can say what you like about Capcom about other franchises, but they don't seem to have ruined Ace Attorney yet. And they want to release it in the West, it just doesn't sell. And they were like, oh, hey, you know what? People were campaigning to have the second Ace Attorney Investigations put on the eShop. Why don't we, since we can't justify a physical release of Dual Destinies, why don't we just skip the middle part where they complain and put it on the eShop? And everyone's like, no, don't put it on the eShop. The eShop's dumb.
And another thing is, like, if I ever do play that fan case, it's gonna be nagging me. These aren't these characters' real names.
Yeah. And whenever you're talking about it later with someone, if it does get officially released, you'd be like, who the hell is that? Oh, you know, the guy from the third case. Oh, right. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just gonna have that tinge of like, okay, this is made by a fan, this is made by a fan. It's like if like someone took our events and like officially printed them into a manga. It's gonna be super weird for us. We're gonna be like,
yeah.
I'm gonna see what the internet forums are saying.
Like even if, like I've played a couple of fan cases that people have made, and the whole time, even if they're really good, it's like, this isn't canon. This isn't canon.
Yeah, it's like it's in the back of your head that no matter how good they write the characters, because like I only trust the official Capcom team and the Ask Ace Attorney guy to write the characters. I have little to no faith in anyone else, including myself.
What about a Kojima Ace Attorney game?
Oh god, a Kojima Ace Attorney game. That would have a stupider ending than Layton versus Wright.
The true killer was nanomachines.
Everything goes back to zero. Maybe the world is better off without phoenixes. Oh, just kidding. He didn't really shoot himself. It's like, why? That would have been a good ending. No. What are you doing? Stop. Big Boss, why are you alive? Stop explaining everything. Nanomachines, blah, blah, blah. Zero, blah, blah, blah. Aside from nanomachines. Okay,
Quentin Tarantino Ace Attorney game. I want to see that now.
Kind of. Oh,
let's get a petition going. That'll solve everything.
It would. I still want my Platinum Games Ace Attorney game.
Did you see the PS4 TGS event where they announced like 5 different Warriors games? And I was like, okay, Ace Attorney Warriors or GTFO.
No, Capcom burned the bridge on that one by suing Tecmo Koei.
Oh, did they? Wasn't it the other way around?
No, Capcom sued them.
Yeah.
So, they burned those bridges. We're never going to get our Turnabout Warriors.
Why would you do this?
I want to pour a giant cup of coffee as Godo. And whip massive crowds of people as Francisca. And you know what? Just reskin Ganondorf to look like Manfred von Karma and give him two giant tasers.
God, yes.
And he's doing the Manfred screaming faces. He's like flipping his tasers over.
Yes. Oh, that would be so good. I want it.
Give it to me. I need more. Okay, I think that.
I think we bored the people enough. We're sorry.
With our insanity. Mwah. Good night, everybody.
Illy.